Morning students, today we are going to see about the cognitive radio network. So in today's content we are going to see about the introduction of cognitive radio networks and literature review, NCR and architecture, and what are the challenges that is faced in your cognitive radio network and issues and its application and conclusions and also its future work. So the ISM, that is that industrial and scientific and medical band host have many different wireless technologies such as Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and WiMAX. The number of devices, the function of the ISM band is constantly growing. The interference between these devices is growing as well as this means the degradation of performance. So this is the IEEE standards for each and every networks. Okay. So in this we are going to see about cognitive radio networks. So here let us, before entering to the network CRM, let us see about what is spectrum and management. So something that it's set of electromagnetic radiation and frequency band. It ranges up to 300 GHz, and government entities own frequency channel which are divided according to the common frequency band characteristics. So the international telecommunication divides the world into three different regions that influence wireless signal propagation. That is, region one is Europe, Africa, and something is parts of Middle East. Second one is your American. Third one is your Asia, South Asia, and Pacific Islands. So next is your cognitive radio network. Wireless communication in which the transmission or reception parameters, that is your operating spectrum, modulation and transmission power, and communication technologies are changed to communication effectively without interference with licensed user, which means the parameters changes are based on active monitoring of several factors in radio environment. Example, radio frequency spectrum. So the literature survey is something that CRN was first described by Mitola in his PhD thesis. So that is as cognitive radio. It is futurely architecture is defined as software defined radio in the year of 2000. So it has a federal communication commissions has a given reported in 2003, and DSA concept was firstly implemented by DRAPA in 2003, and radio sense analysis and channel state estimation, prediction modeling, transmit power control, dynamic spectrum managements are described by Simon Atkins in February 2005. So let us see about CRM. So it is an intelligent device that coexists as a licensed user without affecting their quality of services. Here the licensed user have higher priority and are called primary user, and cognitive radio access the spectrum is an optimistic way for secondary user, and network of cognitive radio could function at a licensed portion of the spectrum, which means demand to access the ISM could be reduced. So this is a example of your primary and secondary user concept, where you have a primary user, this tower is said to be a primary user, and secondary users are those devices. So why we go for cognitive network? So underutilized of licensed spectrum, that is the licensed portion of the spectrums are underutilized. According to FCC, only 5% of spectrum of 30 MHz to 30 GHz is used by US. So restriction to the second user. Licensed portion of the spectrum consists of frequency band that belongs to one of the following categories, which are white space, grey space, and black spaces. So here the primary users are absent, and these bands can be utilized without any restrictions, and grey space is something that the primary users are present, and interference power at the primary receivers should not extend a certain threshold called interference temperature limit, and black space is something that a primary user power is very high, and secondary user should use an interference cancellation techniques in order to communicate. So this is how the cognitive radio networks work. So here the secondary users identify the white and grey and black spaces and allow according to the corresponding restrictions. So this is your CRN architecture, where the green represents unlicensed band, and the red is something that licensed band 2 and licensed band 1. So these are the main function of CRN. Okay, so which is something that spectrum sensing, spectrum management, spectrum mobility, and spectrum sharing. The spectrum sensing is something that detecting the unused spectrum and sharing the spectrum without harmful interference, that is said to be a spectrum sensing. Spectrum management is something that capturing the best available spectrum to meet up the communication. Spectrum mobility is something that maintaining a seamless communication on the requirement of during the transition to a better spectrum. And spectrum sharing is the thing that providing the fair spectrum scheduling through the scheduling method among the coexistence of CR user. So these are the few applications of CRN. So it is used mainly in lease networks, emergency network, military networks, and also on CRN mesh networks and various multimedia applications and cellular networks. So if you have any doubts related to this topic, feel free to contact me, guys. Thank you.